Charlie, it's story time. Italian composer Ruggero Leoncavallo is said to have based this opera on a tragic event that occurred during his youth. He wrote it in a verismo style, the operatic subgenre that deals with relatable characters and realistic subject matter. How many of us like clowns? Yes, I am referring to those costumed characters with exaggerated makeup. Some people find them funny, others find them scary. And in this opera, we have a front row seat to observe a tale of theatrical melodrama, both on stage and behind the scenes. Storytimers, this is the plot of Pagliacci. Now, let's get into the story. The opera begins with an interesting touch. One of the characters, Tonio, enters the stage towards the end of the overture and informs the audience that they are about to witness some real life drama. He states that actors are people too. They have real emotions. They go through real trials. Sometimes it takes a lot to put on a costume, beat that face, and mount a stage to entertain an audience, particularly when you're fatigued or enduring an emotional struggle. Trust me, it no be easy. Anyway, this would be a good time to let you know that Pagliacci is a play within an opera. So yeah, it's an opera, but within the opera, the characters are portraying actors who travel to different towns and mount stage plays for the townsfolk. So each character has two names in this opera: their operatic character and the name of the character they portray in their show. On this particular day, the acting troupe is making a stop in a small village. They plan on staging a performance that night. So, of course, they need to sell tickets. The leader of the troupe is called Canio, and he plays the role of Pagliaccio, who is the lead male character in the play. As their vehicle stops in the town center, Canio disembarks and starts to promote the show. Typical showman, he's hyping the show and encouraging the townsfolk to come out and watch later on. Make that money, fam! As Canio is hyping the show, the other characters start exiting the vehicle. Tonio is the actor who portrays the character Taddeo. Nedda is the lead actress, and she's also the wife of Canio. She portrays Colombina in the play. Colombina is Pagliaccio's wife in the play. So yes, Canio and Nedda are a married couple, both off stage and in the play. So Tonio exits the vehicle ahead of Nedda, and as Nedda is following him to exit the vehicle, Tonio extends a hand to assist her. But suddenly, Canio shoves Tonio away, as if to say, "Hey, don't touch my wife." Like, dude, take a chill pill. Tonio is just being a gentleman, right? So some of the people in the crowd notice this interaction and they kind of try to make light of it, just to ease the tension. They're like, "Boss Canio, make you no bore. Tonio was just being a gentleman." In these days of wokeness, you hardly see such chivalry. So boss, relax. Let's all go and have a drink. Canio and Beppe, another troupe member, accept the invitation, but Tonio declines. I know what you're thinking. Tonio has already triggered Canio's anger by extending a kind gesture to his wife. Yet he doesn't want to go and drink some beer and have a laugh and forget about the awkward moment. Tonio says, "Nope, I'm teetotal for the month of September. I'll stay here and wait, thank you." Well, the villagers then decide to tease Canio. "Hey, Canio, are you sure your wife is safe with him?" Mr. Quick Temper Canio doesn't find this amusing at all, and he actually sounds a warning. He says, "Look, just because you see my comedic character on stage, don't think I'll tolerate any nonsense from any of you, especially regarding my Nedda." Nedda looks extremely uncomfortable. There's an uneasy feeling in the atmosphere. But Canio eventually agrees to go and have a drink with Beppe and some of the other townsfolk. Tonio leaves as well, but he doesn't go with them. He goes in a different direction. So at this point, Nedda is left alone and she breathes a sigh of relief. It's obvious that she's fearful of Canio's temper and she's very unhappy in her marriage. But she comforts herself by singing a lovely aria about birds and how free they are. As she's enjoying her birdsong moment, guess who comes back? Tonio. Nedda is like, What are you doing here, Tonio? You nearly got me in big trouble with Canio. And here goes Tonio. Nedda, I have to confess, I can't stop thinking about you. I know you're not happy with Canio. Let me show you how a real man should treat you, Nedda. Nedda is like, you can't be serious. Go and have a drink and get your mind right, because this ain't happening. She continues laughing, but Tonio is not amused. He's really offended by her response, and he has the nerve to grab her. Nedda is so startled that she actually stops mid laugh and she says, "Oh, heck no! Have you lost your mind?" She looks round and sees a stick lying nearby, grabs it, and lashes the heck out of him. "Don't you ever grab me like that again!" She beats the guy until he runs away. But he doesn't go far. He runs and hides in a corner and watches Nedda from a distance. Now, here comes Silvio. He was also in the pub with the other men, but he left thinking that Nedda was still outside alone, and he came out to see her. See, now we discover that Silvio is Nedda's true love. And yes, they have been seeing each other, and Silvio is ready to elope with Nedda and take her away from this abusive relationship. He wants them to leave and start a new life together that very night. Nedda is obviously afraid that they'll be caught by Canio, but she's also ready to start a new happy life with Silvio. So she agrees to his proposal. Unbeknownst to the two of them, Antonio is keenly watching this exchange with anger and jealousy. Remember, he wants Nedda for himself, and he can't understand why she has chosen Silvio as her lover. So he decides to be a snitch. Yup, he scurries off to report Nedda to Canio. But he doesn't tell Canio who Nedda is seeing. Canio rushes from the pub to see for himself what's going on. But Silvio spots the impending danger, and before Canio can get close, he runs away. As he escapes, Nedda yells to him, "I will always be yours." Canio doesn't see Silvio's face, so he's left wondering who his rival is. He now starts threatening Nedda. He even pulls out a knife to attack her. Thankfully, Beppe intervenes. He's like, "Chale, Canio, we've got a show to focus on tonight. Just clear your mind of all of this drama and let's focus on the show. Violence isn't the answer. Chill, we can talk about this later, peacefully." Tonio, however, is still in the background instigating, telling Canio that he shouldn't worry and that they will surely catch his rival later on. He's just bitter because Nedda told him to kick rocks. Anyway, the actors proceed to get ready for the show. Canio is alone in his dressing room. He's putting on his clown makeup and lamenting his emotional torture and the fact that he has to laugh even though he feels so much pain. By the way, check out Placido Domingo's stunning rendition of the aria Vesti la Giubba, which is what Canio sings at this point in the opera. Now, before the play begins, Nedda is collecting the gate fee. They've got to make that money. And she spots her true love, Silvio. She quickly warns him that he should be careful because Canio is on the lookout. The time for the play finally arrives and the actors are all in character. Canio is Pagliaccio, the lead male character. Nedda is Colombina, Pagliaccio's wife. Beppe, Canio's friend, is Arlecchino, who is Colombina's lover in the play. And Tonio is Taddeo, the servant to Colombina and Pagliaccio and the buffoon of the play. In the play, Colombina is home alone and her lover Arlecchino is serenading her through a window. Eventually, Taddeo, the servant, also arrives at the house and declares his love for Colombina. Colombina promptly rejects him. Are we seeing some parallels here? Arlecchino comes into the house and chases Taddeo away. The play is supposed to be comical, so the audience is watching all this and having a good laugh about it. After chasing Taddeo away, Arlecchino gives Colombina a sleeping potion to use on Pagliaccio so that he will fall into a deep sleep and Colombina can escape with Arlecchino. As they're discussing their plans, Taddeo comes back and informs them that Pagliacci is on his way home. Of course, Arlecchino has to get out of there, so he escapes by jumping out of a window. And as he's leaving, Colombina yells after him, "I will always be yours." Now, where have we heard that line before? Yup, it's the same line Nedda used when Silvio was running away from Canio. So, upon hearing that line again, Canio's anger is triggered and he breaks character. Colombina, aka Nedda, keeps trying to bring Canio back into character as Pagliacci, but he's so upset that he will not listen. By this point, he's in a jealous rage and he just won't let it go. While this is happening, the audience thinks it's part of the play, so they're cheering and applauding and having a great time. I mean, they think this is a Tony Award winning performance. Backstage, the sensible friend Beppe is trying to intervene, but Tonio, with his wounded pride, is still upset about Nedda's rejection, so he's preventing Beppe from intervening. A whole mess is unfolding on stage, and Silvio can't hide any longer. He has to rescue Nedda, his love. Before he can get to Nedda, however, Canio pulls out a knife and stabs his wife. As she falls to her death, Nedda calls out Silvio's name. Canio and Silvio engage in a struggle, but Canio strikes again. Silvio also falls, mortally wounded. Canio, the murderer, now addresses his horrified audience. By this time, they've realized that this ain't part of the play. Canio looks at the shocked faces staring at him and declares, "La commedia è finita," meaning the comedy is finished. Imagine being in the audience at that play. I mean, what do? Do you finish your popcorn? Do you go running and screaming for your life? Do you try to be a hero? I mean, what do you do? Anyway, the opera actually ends on this tragic note. There is no happy ending for anyone. I'm not even sure that Tonio the troublemaker is happy about this. May he live with guilt forever and ever. And that is the opera Pagliacci. Cheers.